first thing you think of when you think of branding is probably the logo. Logos are a really integral and standout part of a brand. But you probably also heard a lot of designers say that a brand is not a logo, and it isn't. And a logo is not the only part of a brand, and it is not the most important thing necessarily either. There's so much that goes into branding, and a logo is just a mark, something that represents your brand. But in today's video, I want to talk about when hiring out just the logo is a good idea versus getting a whole brand suite done. As I said, you probably heard a lot of designers saying that a logo isn't a brand, and they're right. So let's discuss when it's appropriate to only outsource logo design. I'm Tabitha Emma and I'm a brand design educator, and today we're going to dive deep into the moments when it's okay to outsource just a logo design and not a full brand identity. Now, there's a reason why a lot of designers say a logo isn't a brand, and that's because a lot of people, the first thing they think of when they think of a brand is a logo. And so when they think, oh, I've got to get my branding done, they'll probably go to a designer and say, oh, can you create my logo? And they don't realize that there's so much more that needs to be put into it, and not just making a logo. There's so much more that is involved in creating a brand identity. But the trouble is that outsourcing a full brand identity isn't always going to work for everyone. But the problem is not everyone's ready to outsource a full brand identity. And here's a few reasons why. First of all, if you're absolutely brand new, you're just starting out a new business, if you don't have full brand clarity, then doing a full brand identity, you could spend all this time and money creating this beautiful brand, put so much into it, create this amazing identity, but then you realize that you want to do things differently. You want to take things a different direction as you start to do more market research, or you realize that maybe the direction you've gone is just not working out, or even wanted to completely change, your audience or even the brand name. And so right from the get-go, getting a brand identity when you're not ready yet, if you don't have that clarity, is going to be a complete waste of time. Now, that doesn't mean if you've got a brand new business that you can't go and do that brand identity straight off the bat, but make sure that you do have clarity about what you're doing and the direction you're going, that you've done your research, that you know that you're entering the market that you really want to enter, that your audience is the one you want, you've got clear messaging and you know what you're doing. If you're unsure and you're trying to test the waters and figure things out as you go, and you want some sort of brand of such so that you can put yourself out there and sort of test on the go, see how people react to things, and seeing if you need to make tweaks and changes as people react to it, then you'll probably only want to do something more simple. You're not going to want to go all out and create this full-on brand identity. And this is where outsourcing just a logo could be a good idea. So you might be able to pick out some colors and fonts and other bits and pieces yourself, but you want to up-level it just a little bit and get that logo looking really nice. And so it might be suitable to just outsource that logo so you can up-level things a little bit, make it look really professional so that you're presenting yourself well, giving a good chance, but you don't want to commit too heavily in case you might want to change things or it's not actually going to work out. The other reason you might want to hire out just a logo is if you have a sub-brand. So you might already have a full brand identity for your main primary umbrella brand, but maybe you're creating a new product, a new line of things, and you have a sub-brand, basically a brand that sits under that umbrella brand. And so a lot of that umbrella brand's branding is coming into that a sub-brand. So you're not having to create everything new from scratch from that sub-brand. You might still be using the same colors and fonts. It still has the same feeling about it because it's still the same audience. But maybe you just want to create a logo for that sub-brand. So maybe you want to create a product logo, something like that. So everything else stays the same as the main identity, but you want to create something that just sets that thing apart. Now, the other reason that you might want to outsource just the logo is if you are a designer or a creative yourself and you can actually handle most of the branding yourself. You feel quite confident to do most of it, but for some reason you're struggling with that logo. It can be quite a challenge sometimes to design for yourself, to step outside of yourself and create something for yourself. That if you're finding that your logo is a stumbling block, and it could speed things up for you and make you feel more confident about your brand if you outsource that one element. And the final reason is if your logo just isn't serving you. So maybe your branding is going pretty well, you like how everything is, but you feel like something about your logo is off. And so outsourcing just that logo might be the only element of your branding that needs fixing up. So if everything else is working out, why would you start from scratch and create a whole new brand identity if you just need to fix one particular area? So that's the time when maybe just doing just the logo is right and you keep everything else as is. Now, the reason I wanted to discuss this today is because recently I added this service. So if you're someone that feels like you're in one of these situations where you only need that logo and you feel frustrated because everyone's saying, oh no, I don't do only logos, you have to have that full brand suite, and you're thinking, but right now I'm in a situation where only a logo is what I need. Well, I now offer that service. So if you want to find more about what I offer with that, make sure you check out my website and you'll see the link in the description below. And if you would like to learn more about branding, graphic design, and creativity, then be sure to subscribe to this channel, and I will see you next time.